Hey guys, welcome to our new podcast, Motive to Murder. I am
Mhm.
Autumn.
I'm Mia. A lot of people
Thank you
already
guys
know
for
us.
joining us.
So
Please be kind. This is our very first episode.
it took a lot to
All
get
right.
here.
You guys, we consume true crime every day, all day.
Yep.
Love, love, love. We follow so many other creators and podcasters. I'm super excited to be trying it out for ourselves. Um, Long time coming.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're gonna let Mia get started, kind of clue us in about what we're doing. Let's
This
go.
this first one we're doing, you actually know pretty well. So, or you should know it pretty
I
well.
do, yes.
You do know it pretty well. Autumn's drinking her coffee.
Yes,
I have 7 brew.
absolutely.
Can't see it because my background. That's weird. 7 brew. That's what I'm drinking today. All right. So my sources are the Reddit page Unsolved Mysteries, but honestly, that Reddit page wasn't the best because it got a lot of details wrong. But I kind of just used it to outline my story and get like the main big details. Findagrave.com, FBI.gov, NBC Dateline, the Vanished podcast, the Unsolved Disappearance podcast, and lastly, the Remember Veronica Jill Blumhorst Facebook page.
Shout out to Josh Mankey.
Shout out Mankey, Josh Mankiewicz. It's Josh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh Mankiewicz. We love you. All right. So Veronica Jill Blumhorst was born September 4th, 1969 to Monica Gambardella. She was actually adopted to her parents, Paul and Betty Blumhorst, when she was 7 months old. Even though she was adopted, she had no interest in finding her biological family. A lot of people would ask her if she was curious about them, but her response was, and I quote from multiple people that talked to her, that she said, "I don't need to find them. I already have a family," which is really sweet.
No,
Um,
that's amazing.
I know. It wasn't weird to her that she was adopted like it would be to other people because her older sister, Carolyn, was had already been adopted 5 years ago by her parents as well. So she wasn't the only adopted one in her
Wait, do they
family.
have the same mom?
No, no, they do
No,
not.
different moms.
No, I couldn't find
Okay.
anything about Carolyn's biological parents. It was most likely a closed adoption. They know nothing about them. So,
Okay.
yeah. A few years later, actually, after adopting the two girls, Paul and Betty had a son, Todd. So they're each 5 years apart. So Todd is 5 years younger than Veronica, and Veronica is 5 years younger than Carolyn. So they're about 15 years in between all of them. Their
All
father,
right.
Paul, went on Dateline and said the family was really close. They would even go on vacation every summer. And he literally said, wherever the kids wanted to go, that's where we went, which is the dream. That is my dream for sure. Veronica's early life was definitely
We
different
kind of
to
do that.
we don't kind of do that. We kind of go wherever everyone wants to go. Mainly the beach. We're beach people. Big beach people. Veronica's early life was definitely different to many other kids. She had a very small stature. She was pretty little. And when she was a kid, she had to have leg supports to walk for the first few years of her life. And Carolyn, her sister, said it definitely slowed her down, but it did not stop her from trying to participate with any of the other kids because she would eventually get it and pick it up in her own special way.
What was the point of the leg supports? Like,
I have no clue. I couldn't find anywhere about them, but she did wear leg supports. In sixth grade, it was discovered that Veronica had a learning disability and had to be transferred to a public school, a bigger public school, which I'm not sure if she was in private school. I couldn't find anything about her being in a private school or homeschooling. I'm not sure about that. But it said she had to be transferred to a public school to receive special education classes. But she worked hard to transition into mainstream classes along with every other peer she had, and she graduated high school on track. So that's amazing. After high school, Veronica started working at a cashier at SuperValue, which happened to be only a few blocks from her house, about a quarter mile. So it's not very far at all. It was known that she loved her job and she preferred working nights to have her days free. But her sister, even though she wanted to have her days free, her sister described her as a homebody. She didn't like to leave her house a whole lot unless she was with someone or going somewhere with someone. She would never go out by herself. By September 1990, her sister Carolyn was already married and moved out of the house. Todd was in high school and Veronica was working, trying to find her path in life. She never mentioned wanting to go to college or having a career, but her biggest dream was to have a family and be a mother, which was really sweet.
Sure.
Sure. What? You don't think that's sweet?
I guess.
I guess. On September 21st, 1990, only about 2 weeks after her 21st birthday, around 1:10 a.m. was the last time she would ever be seen. So that's kind of all I could find about her early life. And I think that's pretty
So
normal.
right before, after her birthday, she disappeared, or before?
16 days after her 21st birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. No
So,
partying, no bars, no.
no, nope, nothing
Wow.
like that. The night of her disappearance, she was working until 1 a.m. and clocked out officially at 1:07 a.m. Then she said goodbye to her coworkers, and they noted that she carried home a VHS copy of the movie Stella, which I know you know what it is, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I
She said,
mean, my age, you should know.
yeah, I guess. She said she was going to go home and watch it the next day, or technically the same day, but in the morning during like the afternoon. She was then seen getting into her blue 1989 Chevy Corsica. You said you had one of those.
Mm-hmm.
You had a Corsica?
Mm-hmm.
Around 2 a.m., her mom, Betty, recalled waking up and looking out at the detached garage and seeing her car through the window. So the garage was separate from the house, and which, like, I feel like a lot of houses in Illinois are like that, though.
Well, I mean, in the early 90s, I don't feel
Yeah.
like most houses had attached garage.
No, you'd park your car in the garage, and there would be, they said it was
A
about
sidewalk,
yeah, a
probably.
sidewalk or even just like a small pathway. But it was
Mm-hmm.
about 32 foot between the garage and the house. She, as anyone else would, assumed her daughter made it home safe and went to bed as soon as she got home from work. And she went back to bed.
Who? Oh, Betty.
Betty, yeah. It wasn't until the next morning that her parents realized something was definitely wrong because Todd, her younger brother, who was still in high school, was having car issues and Veronica was supposed to take him to school. But when he went to look for her and she wasn't anywhere in the house, he noticed her car was in the garage, which he should have been sketched out then. But I guess apparently she went and did stuff with her boyfriend in the morning sometimes. So he called his father, Paul, who was working at the local firehouse. They both kind of assumed that she went to breakfast with her boyfriend Jeff, who she'd been dating for a little over a year. So I don't think that's too weird.
I mean, don't I feel like in the 90s, most people left a note,
You think?
or
Maybe they
why
didn't.
didn't he? It's odd that he didn't go like, "Hey, wake up. You got to take me to school."
What do you mean? He looked for her. She wasn't in the house.
Well, I guess. I
They were
guess.
just like, well, I guess she must have went to breakfast with Jeff and just didn't tell anyone. Maybe she'd done it before.
Okay.
Anyways, Paul told Todd to take his car to school and that he would take a look at it when he got home, or he would pick it up from the school and make sure it was okay to drive. So nobody assumed anything was out of the ordinary at this point. At 10 a.m., Paul returned home and looked for Veronica. Didn't find her. He then got a call from the doctor's office saying she had missed a follow-up appointment for a recent illness. She actually had mono. And apparently the treatment for mono can make you like really tired and groggy because you get like a
Yeah.
fever, and recovering from that's kind of hard.
You sleep a lot.
Yeah, but she made the appointment, so not going to it was kind of out of the ordinary for her.
Okay. Yeah.
After not finding her home, he called his wife, Betty, where she told him everything about waking up in the middle of the night and seeing her car in the garage. But she said, I don't remember her coming in, but she could have snuck in, like, before
How
Betty
can you
even woke
see
up.
her car in the garage?
The garage had a window.
Wait, how can you see her car in the garage?
The garage had a window.
Okay. So the garage must have faced her bedroom, I guess.
Well, no, she woke up and walked
I
down
mean,
or
how else would
walked
she be
into
able to see it?
she went out of her room. She probably went to the kitchen or something where you could see the garage from the window. And I'm sure the garage also
Okay.
had windows, especially if it was detached. It would have like a window on the side.
No.
After getting off the phone with his wife, Paul then went to the garage to see for himself if the car was still there. It was. So his next course of action was to try and call his oldest daughter, Carolyn, Veronica's sister, but the line was busy. So he did what they all did back in the 80s, 90s. He just got in his car, went to her house. Because it was a
That's
small
right, because we didn't
town.
have cell phones.
Small town. He was like, I'm just going to drive to her
And
house.
and we didn't have cell phones. I don't even know if they had the bag phone then.
I don't
I don't think
know.
so.
You don't think?
It was like maybe a year or two later, maybe that they had the bag phone because I had one.
You had a bag phone?
It was humongous. It was literally
Oh,
like in a freaking briefcase bag. It was like this big.
that is
And you
insane.
unzipped it and it was like almost like a home phone in
That's
a
funny.
bag.
That's actually really funny. Okay. He says after he got off the phone, was about the time Jeff showed up to the house. He asked them if he asked Jeff if they'd gone to breakfast that morning, and Jeff had told them they didn't. Since he was unable to get a hold of Carolyn again, he drove over to her house to see if she was there because they were actually supposed to have a girls' day after Veronica's doctor's appointment. Carolyn planned to go with her to the appointment, and then afterwards, Carolyn, and Carolyn's daughter, so Veronica's niece, were all going to go out and have a fun day. But she wasn't there, and Carolyn had no idea where she was. And as Paul headed back home, Carolyn most likely behind him because she showed up not too much later, the police were already there in his front yard.
Which is so odd.
Which is, you think that's odd?
Like, why would you
Oh my god, my
call the
nose just.
police as Jeff and not
Well,
wait for her
I didn't
parents?
tell
Like,
you
that's
who
not
called
your.
yet, but Paul had said Paul said that Veronica was reported missing, but not by him or his family. Later, he found out that it was Jeff who called and reported her after having a brief talk with her father,
Which was weird.
which was
I
weird.
mean, come on. Come on.
Okay.
Why
So,
wouldn't you wait until he got back and then, hey, you are her mom and dad. Let's call the police. Let's get this started. She's missing, obviously. Great. But why would you do that? That's not up to you.
well, they've been dating for over a
I
year.
don't think. And you don't think that would be her parents' responsibility?
No, it would be.
Like I would have been pissed
Why? At least somebody called and reported it.
because, wait till he gets home. It was odd that he waited. He called while he was gone. What if he would have came back with her?
I have no
Don't you
clue.
think that's odd that he called while Paul was gone?
I don't think
Yeah,
it.
it's
I don't.
freaking weird.
Okay. Anyways, let's get into the whole police side of it, which sucks and was really bad, and you know that already. How bad the police
Hmm.
department was. It was
Yeah.
bad. Okay. Of course, like many other cases, the police were very hesitant to even file a report or do anything about it because Veronica was technically an adult. So, which is so annoying. I hate when they do that. They say, "Oh, she's an adult, run away."
Usually, yeah. You have to wait 24
We have
hours. You
24
don't
to
have to
40.
wait
No,
24 hours.
you do not have to wait 24 hours.
No matter what they say, you do not have to wait 24 hours
Nope.
to report someone missing. You might have then, but you don't have to do that anymore.
No, not at all. Okay. Carolyn had arrived at the house, and along with her parents and other family members, they began to search the house and her car, since the police didn't advise them to not touch anything, none of that, because they just believed she ran away by herself because she was an adult. So they went through the car, they went through the house, her room, all of that, contaminating evidence, because the police were like, yeah, whatever, do whatever you want. We don't really care.
But what are they looking for?
What do you mean? They're looking for anything of where she could have gone, any of her belongings, anything, like even if she made it into the house.
Yeah, I guess like maybe her purse was in her bedroom or whatever.
Yeah, something of that like indicated she got in the house last night or was in the house today.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But I feel like as a parent, I would be like, do not touch anything. But maybe it's because I'm a weirdo true crime person.
Yeah, so
So
you have the
that is your
information that
first instinct.
you have the mind of someone in 2026. You know DNA evidence, you
Sure.
know all of like the carpet fibers, footprint fiber, everything like that. Skin cells, like you know that. They back then didn't know that. DNA evidence was barely a thing. Barely. They couldn't, I don't
But
know.
they were still collecting it. I mean, they've been collecting DNA for a long time, like
Yes.
even in the 70s, but they were just like holding on to it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure as family members, they didn't know that.
No. All right. Let's keep going. It actually wasn't until an entire month later that they said, yeah, we'll search the car.
A freaking
A
month.
month. After searching the car, the family found absolutely nothing, not even the movie that she had rented out that same night.
So it was literally still in her hand
Yeah, so wherever she went,
or in
wherever
her
she
purse.
disappeared to, it was on her person. Her purse, they said she wore a ring and a bracelet and maybe a necklace like all the time, like it was a habit to wear that stuff on her. So, and they found none of it. None of it. Carolyn would later
Mm.
say that the police basically just stood around and talked about how Veronica was an adult and could do whatever she wanted, and she most likely left on her own.
But listen, as a family member,
You
you
know,
know,
you know your daughter, your sister, like you know.
like what would be the reason that she ran
You keep
away?
seeing my
Like,
blanket back there.
seriously, what is the reason that she would run away? They know her.
Mm-hmm. It's a small
I would have
town.
refused to be
Everyone knows
like,
everybody in
absolutely
Mendota.
not.
Everybody knows everybody in Mendota.
That was crazy. That's crazy.
I know.
Don't take no for an answer.
No, not from these sketchy police officers, at least. The one thing the Mendota Police Department did do correctly was they brought out a canine unit to track her scent from the car. The dog was able to track her from the car that was in the garage to an adjacent alley. So,
A month later.
no, no, that was now. That was the first thing they did. They were like, okay,
That
well,
was
I guess
right away.
that was right away.
So that's why they assumed she left because her scent went from the garage to the alley.
They're like, oh, well, she got in a
Like
car
she
with someone
voluntarily left with someone.
because there were no signs of a struggle.
Okay.
There was no blood, no hair, no like,
I mean, how would
drag
they know? They
marks.
really didn't investigate.
As the family conducted their own search, the police and the fire personnel and other people in the town eventually joined them. Eventually. How nice of you. Everyone
That's
said that it
not
was, I know, everyone said it was really out of character for Veronica to just vanish out of nowhere. Her father said
like
she
I
was,
know people. I know people that know her that went to
I
school with
know.
her.
We posted a TikTok before we're even recording this. And people were like, "Oh, she was my cousin's best friend," or they think they said she was my best friend's cousin. And our cousin Tracy was like, "I went to high school with her." Like that
Yeah,
is
and
insane.
Kay, my
Yep.
aunt,
Aunt Kay.
her sister Kim was good friends
A
with her.
blanket. I know.
So she was very well known. I've talked to a lot of people that knew her.
It's a small town. Mendota is tiny. Mendota is so small.
Yeah, it is small.
In 1990, the population of Mendota was 7,000 people. Like literally just over 7,018 people was the estimate. That's small.
That's small.
That is so
Very
small.
small.
Okay,
Yeah.
anyways. Her father said she was very nice to everyone. She was sweet. In multiple interviews, he referred to her as his little angel because they do believe that she was deceased shortly after she disappeared.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is so sad. But her friends told a journalist at the Rock Island Argus it was really worrying. They said she was kind of like overly trusting and naive. They claim that due to her learning disabilities, she was mentally younger than what her physical age suggested.
Okay, so
Oh yeah.
she was probably
Searchers,
friendly with most people.
yeah, obviously. Searchers scoured the area and looked in every corner of wooded areas they could imagine and in the cornfields. And I noted if you are from the area, there are so many, like the whole town, especially
They
surrounding it. Built a
literally
town.
host the Sweet Corn Festival.
They built a town in the middle of a cornfield, is what they did.
They literally host a Sweet Corn Festival.
Like there's so many cornfields that they looked through. It's like, it's crazy.
Good stuff.
Around this time, the police decided they actually wanted to get involved and conducted a search for fingerprints in their car. But Paul, her father, who was a former police officer, had told them there was no point in doing so because it had been so long and they'd already gone through the car themselves multiple times, them, other family members, anyone, and they had been driving it. So I know
Which
that
is
drives you
nuts.
crazy. I don't think that's that crazy.
It is
I
crazy.
don't
That
think
is
that's that crazy.
literally like, that's nuts.
I don't think that's that
To me,
crazy.
that's part of the crime scene.
But they don't, maybe they're not true crime people.
I'm just saying, I would be like, nobody is driving this car until we figure out what's going on, what happened. But I guess if nobody's investigating, but as a parent, I would have been like, this car is off limits. It will be locked. Nobody will be touching it.
Their son was having car issues, so maybe he was driving it. You know,
It's still nuts, but okay, whatever.
any fingerprints that were in it are definitely long gone. But
Right.
that
It's probably been washed on the inside.
probably, the FBI, who joined the case decades later, said that that car was one of the most crucial pieces of evidence that there ever would be because
Thank you.
she never made it into the house. She most likely had gotten into a car with someone she knew, as there were no signs of a struggle anywhere around the area. There were no drag marks, no blood, no hair, stuff you would normally find if someone was forcibly put into a car.
But who is getting into a car with somebody at 1 a.m.?
If they know them,
Who's coming by your house at 1 a.m.?
I don't know
If
what you
you're
do.
not a partier or somebody that goes out on the town, it has to be intimate.
I guess.
Just saying.
Even
Okay.
though people did say she was trusting and naive, it is highly unlikely that she was just convinced into getting in a car with someone she didn't know at the dead of night. Plus, statistically, most people are killed or taken by someone that they know, especially women. So I'm going to follow the theory that the police gave, saying that she voluntarily left. That makes no sense because at most, they say she would have had only a few dollars cash on her, and her ATM card hadn't been used, like her debit card, her credit card, none of that. She had money in savings, so if she was going to voluntarily run away, you would think she would take that money out, right? To disprove the theory even more, Veronica was to get paid the very next day. So if she planned on running away and disappearing for the next 30 years, she would have kind of needed money to get a new start. And I believe she would have picked up her check at least to like get a little bit of
Right.
a running start. And then there's the movie she rented Why would she rent a movie to watch and tell people she was going to watch it the next day and then just leave before you get the chance? I guess she would have taken the movie with her, but like it's a movie. On top of it all, Veronica's mom had been battling cancer at the time of her disappearance, and that's not something that is in her character to disappear from. Who would just leave their mom on, when she's battling cancer like that? That's not something that would happen.
No.
But due to no one witnessing her getting picked up by a mysterious car, the police just assumed she was an adult runaway, which is very, very frustrating.
It's not like they had cameras.
They didn't have ring cameras, they didn't have security cameras, nothing like obviously it was the 90s. It was the 1990, the beginning of the 90s. They spent the crucial hours of this case and all the evidence dismissing the family and saying like she just ran away. So annoying that they do that. That they used to, well, they still do that to some cases. Despite the fact that they had zero evidence, they went to the usual suspects, obviously, which put her boyfriend Jeff at the very top of the list, which is completely normal since most crimes committed. Yeah, that's the top of your suspect list too.
Yeah.
Since most crimes committed toward women are usually committed by their romantic partners, it definitely didn't help that Jeff acted really weird after she disappeared. I wrote down here. A lot of sources dance around what they wanted to call Jeff. Weird. Jeff was definitely weird. Jeff was weird.
All right.
He was smart, but he was socially awkward and liked to do what people called his cheesy magic tricks. He liked to just show people magic tricks, I guess.
So Jeff was a weirdo.
Jeff was a weirdo, big weirdo. After his girlfriend's disappearance, Jeff had tried to insert himself into the Blumhorst household, like even taking it upon himself to answer their home phone when someone called, which is, I think that's invasive as hell.
Like, why are you there anyway?
Because I guess he wanted to feel close to her. That's what I put down. A lot of people,
he was freaking weird. That's why he was there.
A lot of people believe that this was his way of coping with Veronica's vanishing, trying to still feel close to her. But I've heard so many cases of the perpetrator inserting themselves into the family or into the investigation to try and like throw them off their track. Yeah.
So he could be close to the evidence.
Yeah, so he could know. He wanted to know what was going on if he did it. He wanted to know what they had, what they didn't have, what they found out.
I mean, everybody does. That's curiosity, but
it's a freaking,
the
weirdest thing about Jeff being around was that he was the first person to speak the word murder around her case. I think that's weird. Just saying.
Yeah.
Nobody
else said that.
Nobody else had said. He was the first person to mention murder, not just her disappearing. According to a reporter for the Rock River Times, Jeff had basically kind of forced a coworker into this like one-sided conversation about Veronica. And I wrote down what he said. He said, during which he said, "I don't know why anyone would think I was involved in her disappearance or murder." What do you mean?
Well, why wouldn't they think that?
He said, I don't know why they would think that.
The boyfriend always does it.
The boyfriend, the husband. Always.
He did it.
Always them. It's always the husband. It's always the husband. The coworker said he was really uncomfortable because no one had referred to her as murdered yet because she was just missing. But it's so weird.
Wait, how long ago after she disappeared?
They didn't say. They didn't say. Nobody said.
Freaking odd.
Very odd. Jeff was odd. Jeff was also very suspicious during his police questioning. At one point, this is what he said, like verbatim. Yeah, maybe I picked Veronica up on the night she went missing, and maybe we argued, and maybe I shoved her, and maybe she'd been badly hurt, and maybe I'd forgotten all about it and have no memory of it whatsoever.
Mhm. To
That's what he
me,
said.
that's like, yeah, I hurt her and
Freaking shoulder shirt.
he did it.
I know that's what you think. That may seem very weird and suspicious, but that was also hours after police questioning. And a lot of people, I know what you're going to say, a lot of people under that pressure and under that circumstance of being so tired and worn down, they confess to murders that they didn't do.
I don't feel like they were pressuring
It
him
was
because they just
hours.
assumed that she ran away.
I don't think so. No, I think they
I don't
were.
think they pressured him.
They absolutely pressured him. They're going to pressure everyone, especially if they want to pin it on someone. They want this case to be solved because why wouldn't they want? I guess there's no reason that they wouldn't want it solved.
I don't care what they said. I would not be like, well, maybe I choked her out,
But people confess to
but
murders under
I
that kind
don't
of thing,
remember.
and then it was found that they never did it.
That's just insane.
Yeah, it is insane, but it's happened multiple times.
I don't think he's lying.
We'll see. It's also relevant that a few years before this, when he was a freshman in high school, um he'd been in a motorcycle accident and suffered a traumatic brain injury. In Jeff's case, his memory had been badly affected and he struggled to recall things and use what he would refer to as memory tapes. Like he would basically kind of think of things to fill in the gaps in his timeline in his memory. That's what he did.
You know what
Along,
happens to people that suffer traumatic brain injuries? They become serial killers and psychopaths.
okay,
Not all of them, sorry, not everybody, but it does happen. A lot of people that, they find have that traumatic, um, that have a traumatic brain injury do start to change.
they become like aggressive and it
Yeah,
it
very
messes with
aggressive.
the chemicals in your brain and the way your brain is. It like rewires you. Traumatic
Yeah.
brain injuries can also be associated with bouts of anger and aggression. It affects people anywhere between 11 to 34%, which is what I think Dateline said. So, however, you view what Jeff said under police pressure cannot be taken as confession, along with the police searching the land his family owned. There was no evidence ever found linking him to Veronica's disappearance.
Because he didn't take her to his family's place. He took her somewhere else.
They looked, they've never found anything. Like I put, no evidence has ever been found linking
But there are so
anyone.
many ponds and lakes and
I know.
cornfields and culvert ditches all over, so close by. I mean, you could go anywhere.
It could be due to Mendota investigative department, obviously, because they did not do a very good job.
Wait, did he live by himself or did he live with
Nope, he
family?
lived with family. He
So
was
did
22
anybody
out of
vouch for him being home?
no, I don't think they ever really asked. And if they did, they never reported anything on it.
What?
Yeah.
Like they didn't make him have an alibi? They didn't ask
They
him for an
most
alibi,
like
like where were you, what were you
they
doing, and
probably
check
did,
to
but it has
see?
never been put out to the public what he said, any of that, other than his one weird statement.
Yeah, because he's freaking guilty.
Anyways, it could be due to Mendota's investigative department because they didn't really look into anyone other than Jeff, which is really weird because there's another likely suspect that Veronica had previously like dated. And I say dated in quotes. The reason I believe this person had involvement with Veronica's case and it was never investigated was because he was involved in the investigation. He was a officer
I
at the
mean,
time.
honestly, I don't think they needed to look anything any further than Jeff. And if they were
They
investigating
definitely did need to
Jeff,
look further and
I'm just saying, if they were investigating Jeff, really investigating him, they would have went to his parents and been like, "Hey, was he here at this time?" Or make him prove that he was where he was at.
I don't know. They most likely they did do that. Most likely. But it was never reported to the public. I know you don't believe it. You don't believe a word
No.
Greg, or not Greg, Greg's the officer. You don't believe a word Jeff says.
No, he's a psychopath that does magic.
Does magic. Okay. At the time of the investigation, Mendota police officer Greg Kellen had been working for the department for 2 years, first as a dispatcher, and then moved up to his position as an officer. He reportedly had dated Veronica, but according to her sister, she told the Vanish podcast that they'd only really gone on 2 or 3 dates. So
Well,
that's
that's not
not
really dating,
it's dating because it's like 2 to 3 dates, but they're not
I
together.
guess.
They're
She
not
went out with him a
together.
few times.
Yeah, and it says that she quickly ended the relationship because she was uncomfortable around Greg. She told Carolyn that she found Greg overbearing, bossy, possessive. Allegedly, he would try to like control what she would do and like what she would wear, even though they had only gone out on like a few dates. So she was just super
Wow.
uncomfortable and she was like, I no longer want to see you. And she ended things, which is very out of character, according to her sister, because she was normally the one to be broken up with instead of breaking up with someone.
But how long before she started dating Jeff was she dating this guy?
I have no clue because it was barely anything. They probably didn't even go on a real date. It was probably like they hung out 2 or 3 times.
I mean, I could, because she had been dating Jeff a year.
Yeah, for a year. So I guess she was probably around 19, 20, like those ages.
I mean, it's not like he was like, I don't think anybody was reporting that he was like stalking her or bothering
No, but
her.
he could have been doing it without anyone noticing.
You know, I feel like she would know and she would be telling
I
people
don't know if she would know.
it's not him.
Anyways,
Huh.
as you can imagine, after she went missing, Greg was assigned to the case, and the family was really uncomfortable with that. He was assigned to be one of the investigators, and that's really weird. He was one of the original cops that showed up at the Blumhorst house after the report was made.
I mean, yeah, he probably shouldn't have been involved in the investigation, but he didn't do it.
Speaking of which, cops showing up to their house, Paul said something on NBC Dateline that their neighbor, who he had been friends with for years, was also a cop. And he was the one to say she probably ran away. Their neighbor that he was friends with said that.
Wait a minute. Did
What?
they investigate the neighbor?
No. Nope.
Like, because that's a little bit suspect.
Suspicious.
Well, I mean, why would they not? Why didn't they investigate everybody who knew her?
Because I really don't think they cared about this case.
Because they assumed she ran away and it wasn't really a case to them,
It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth their time.
which
Which is
is
so
nuts.
it's
It's a
sad.
human being. It's a life.
She was freshly 21.
She
Freshly.
was somebody's daughter.
I know.
Like, I would not be that parent.
Yeah, I know. But you're different.
I don't think I'm different. I feel like most parents would be like, I will be on the police steps every single day
You
until
think?
this is being
Paul was
investigated
like that
properly.
though. Paul was aggressive and he tried to be that they were just shooting him down left and right. I feel so bad. Like they were awful to them. They eventually did move out of state to Arizona, which I don't blame them. Being treated
Yeah, I
like
don't
that by your
either.
own police force that are like supposed to protect and serve your community can't even like look into your daughter disappearing. I would be beyond pissed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know.
I feel like it was botched from the very beginning.
Of
And
them not checking the car, and I'm not even done yet. I still got pages on pages. And we're just
okay.
okay. It was a fact of life that he would be involved and working on the case. It became even more real when he became chief of police years later. So even if Again, there's no known evidence that links Greg to Veronica's case, and I can almost guarantee that even if there was, it would never see the light of day. It's probably long destroyed by now. So years following the investigation, there were times when he would reach out to the family at like wanting to ask questions. Carolyn had to eventually tell him, like, please stop contacting us because it's kind of making us uncomfortable, which is
Why?
really,
What was he saying?
he was asking very personal questions that were just like very not that had anything to do with the investigation, and she didn't share any of the questions he asked, but she said it was really weird and it was really uncomfortable for her and for the rest of the family.
That's
Out of
odd.
options, I know. Out of options and not knowing what to do, the Blumhorst family urged the police department, mainly Paul, to reach out to other state departments and agencies to help. But allegedly, at the time, Ken Hahn lied to Paul about contacting the state police or anyone else who wanted to be involved. And Paul caught him in that lie. Because he contacted and said, hey, have you heard anything about this case? And they said, no, we didn't even know that happened.
Wow.
So what he did was he basically went up to Ken Hahn, the chief of police, and said, you're going to write these letters, but you're going to give them to me and I'm going to go send them in. So
that's sad.
I know. The Hahn did allow him to do that. He did write the letters and give them to Paul. But after the Illinois State Police received the letter, they called up Paul and told him they couldn't help because the Mendota Police were not interested in their help. So I can almost
Wow.
guarantee the state police were contacted Mendota Police Department and said, we would like to get involved in this case. And they said, don't worry about it.
Because they believe she ran away.
Yeah. I don't even know if they believe she ran away. I feel like they just didn't want to deal with it anymore. Which is
But
so
they really
sad.
never dealt with it at all.
Yeah, they never dealt with it. I just don't think they cared to deal with it. They were used to small neighborhood disturbances and that kind of stuff, traffic stops kind of police department instead of a big missing persons case. And they were just like, well, we don't know what to do, so I guess we're just not going to do anything. There have been so many things that the Mendota police have done that absolutely botched this case. They threw away evidence. They discarded of it and never gave the family a reason. Nowadays, evidence gets held onto for decades. Like, we have evidence from the freaking 1940s at this point. Like, almost 100 years of evidence being held onto in case science evolves to that point. But they discarded of it, and it's really
Did they
upsetting.
say why they threw it away?
No, they did. Okay.
Or was it an accident?
No clue. They told the family, we cannot provide you a reason. According to Paul, he told the Vanished podcast at one point in the investigation, the family had given the Mendota police a bed sheet from Veronica's bed, hoping that one day they would be able to extract the DNA off of it. And in case any missing remains were found that couldn't be identified to a certain person. But they later found out that she was discarded and they could not provide the family a reason.
Wow.
There was like one more little suspect that not really many people mentioned, but I guess it was kind of like a stalker Veronica had at the grocery store where she worked. His name has never been shared with the public, ever. No podcast knows, no news source. The freaking NBC Dateline doesn't even know his name. And for Maggie to not know, that's a problem. For John Mankiewicz to not know.
They just never publicly announced it?
No. But
like, where are the files? Why are these not open to the public?
I know, I agree. According to what a coworker at the time had told the Vanished podcast, he often behaved like creepily towards all of the female staff that worked at that grocery store, but he took a very special interest in Veronica. And I personally think that's because she did have that mentally younger mind, and she had been working there since she was 18. So I bet you he preyed
Now it
on
makes you
that.
want to ask her old coworkers, like, hey, who was it?
I know, I know. I don't think they're allowed to disclose it. Like I'm like, I had a few
Yes,
people
they
reach out.
can.
I guess they can, maybe. I don't know. Sometimes he'd hang around the store for hours. Like he'd just be in that grocery store for hours wanting to talk with her. And it wasn't very big.
I
I
feel
have
like he was maybe just a weird person.
so was Jeff, but she dated him, didn't she?
Yeah,
Maybe she just attracted weird people or girl. Um,
for real.
he'd walk around the store for hours just wanting to talk to her while she was trying to work, and he really creeped her out, and she didn't like that. But his creepy behavior could have gone beyond the store, and he could have maybe followed her home. But why would she get into his car? Maybe he abducted her, but there was no
Right.
sense of a struggle.
She's not going to, especially if he creeped her out, she wasn't going to get in his car.
Exactly, exactly. So that nothing
That's
ever
why I
came
say
of
she
that
wasn't going to get in Greg's car either.
because he made her uncomfortable.
Yeah, because
But
she
he
felt
was
uncomfortable around
but
him.
he was a police officer at the time. What if he was like, I need to talk to you about something and she got in? You
Mm,
never know.
I don't
You
think
never
so.
know. Um a theory that Chief Han at the time also told Paul was that it could have been there was a 6-year-old girl that Kayla Lansing that was abducted around the same time, the year exactly a year later in 1991, from the town of Spring Valley, which you said is not too far away from Mendota.
No, it's on the other side of LaSalle.
Okay, so about a half-hour drive. Chief
Well,
Han
45 minutes, something like that.
Chief Han felt that there was possibility of the two being connected because of the way they disappeared, the time of year, and the way they both vanished with no trace. But Kayla's case has been solved today, so we know that has nothing to do with Veronica. Her abductor and killer, unfortunately, was a pedophile serial predator named Jeffrey Risley. Investigators
Mm-hmm.
were tipped off by another. Do you know about that? Do you know him? Or not him, but do you know
Mm-hmm.
about it? You do.
Yeah.
Investigators were tipped off by another young girl that Jeffrey had approached. And when they contacted him, he folded. He drew a map that led exactly to her body, and he confessed to everything. And every other crime that he had said he committed were all against children. So he was just a gross pedophile.
Right, because she's an adult. He's not
Yeah, she was
interested
a
in
full.
adults.
Exactly. He's clearly interested in small children, which is fucking disgusting.
Freaking sicko.
So that's all the suspects they have in this case, and no one has ever really come forward and said, I know it happened, or it's just sad.
I think she got in the car with Jeff. They had been arguing. She got in the car with him. They went for a drive. They were arguing, and he killed her and buried her somewhere. Snyder's Grove, any place like that.
Veronica's mom, like her biological mom, was actually just a few years ago informed that Veronica was missing. A few years ago.
Which is nuts.
I
She must
know.
not have been from there anymore then.
No, she must have moved or something, but
Maybe she wasn't from there.
maybe. But she did provide a DNA sample to the investigators. So in case any
So what are
remains,
we doing? Why are we not?
I know. It's like
Wait,
there's a freaking hold on this case.
who are we looking for?
What do you mean? Katrina Moore. I need some Katrina Moore. Where is she at?
We need her.
Well, I need Katrina Moore here. Anyways, her brother Todd, years following the case, advocated tirelessly. He devoted almost his entire life to finding her.
He sure did.
He absolutely did. It is very upsetting how
Yeah.
they never found anything, but he also unfortunately passed away in 2013 at the age of 39 due to some rare form of cancer that nobody ever says anything. It's kind of personal family details. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
He did work
But
as a
we all knew because he told us in several of the groups that he was
yeah.
in.
He didn't ever say what kind, but he did say like he would
Yeah,
post
he
and
knew he was coming to an end. And so he
absolutely.
was asking people to help or take over
Yeah.
to keep it going.
Yeah,
That's what
and
we
it's
need. We need to
it's
keep it
still
going.
going. If you go to Facebook and you go to the Facebook page remember Veronica Jill Blumhorst. I posted what, a week ago. People were already messaging me. I made a post saying, like, if you have any information that you know of, any source that you think is the most reliable, let me know, send it to me. And I had so many people messaging me saying, thank you for covering this. Like, I'm like, this is my first episode. Like, I don't know if it's going to be huge coverage, but
I mean, we're doing the best we can.
we made a post on TikTok. It got like 1,200 views so far, which is something. And
Yeah, it's
people in the
great.
comment, it is great for being our first post. People in the comments were saying, I knew her, or I'm from the area and I've never heard this. And I'm like, that is so
Which
crazy.
is insane because it was huge.
I know. But
It was
anyways,
huge.
Todd was a cold case advocate with the nonprofit group Homicide Survivors of Tucson, because they did move to Arizona after all of this, like, kind of settled, the dust settled, which must have been so hard moving away from that house and knowing, like, especially after we move, nothing will ever be found. This place will never be investigated again.
Or anything was going to be done regardless.
I know. Carolyn, her sister, Paul, and Betty, her parents, they're still alive. Just recently, last month, they met with a medium and psychics to try and get answers, but they didn't. Normally on the Facebook page, they will share the audio recordings from those, but nothing came of it, so they did not share this past one. Her dad, Paul, says more than anything, he just wants to know where her body is so he can give her a proper burial. That's all they want at this point, because they know she's gone.
So, did Todd ever say who he thought did it?
No.
I think he did.
He probably insinuated it, but he never came out and, like, I think I know it's this person, but they just aren't looking into it. A lot of people on the Facebook page do speculate that it is the cop that she went on dates with.
I don't think so.
Because
I don't see that.
why would they be covering up for Jeff though?
They weren't. They just were shitty police officers.
They were shitty police officers. This was a horrible
who didn't
freaking
do
botch
their
case.
freaking job.
I know, it's so
And
upsetting.
and I don't think that they're covering up for Jeff, but I feel like nobody else had a reason.
I
Like,
guess, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Currently,
why aren't the
Veronica.
police now, like now, why aren't they investigating? Is this is a cold case, obviously,
Yes, it's gone cold for. It's been
but
what?
is it closed?
Closed? No, it's still open. She's still on the FBI missing persons list. There's still a contact form to provide any information anyone has. I will post links everywhere to this. Like, I'll post the FBI list. I will post the local police, because they are still looking for answers in this case. So if you
Why aren't
know
we doing
anything,
something? Why isn't the Mendota Police
I don't
Department
know.
doing something now?
I don't.
We have DNA now.
We have the
Her mom has
science.
given a sample. Why are we not following up?
They don't know what to do at this point. Because what can you do?
Doing something is better
But
than
what
nothing.
can they do? Her DNA is in CODIS. Tell you that. They put her mother's DNA into CODIS by now. So if anything ever comes up as a match as a missing person, you know how when they find remains that they can't link to someone, they often will run that DNA through CODIS, which, if you guys don't know what CODIS is, it's this huge
DNA database.
It's a DNA database of every criminal since what, like the early 2000s and before.
And it's being added to daily. I saw on another podcast where people, like, say that they put the DNA in 20 years ago. They should be following up with that and entering that same DNA into the database and keep it going, because new people are added constantly.
But the thing is, if they enter a new string of DNA and it matches one in CODIS, they, like, automatically get a notification that, oh, there's a match. Like, so.
Right. And what I'm saying is new people are being added to that
Yeah.
database every day. So it might not have matched somebody 5 years ago, but it could match somebody today.
But what do you mean? Even if they put it in today, it'll match somebody from 25 years ago. If it does.
No, I'm saying like if they enter her DNA
Mm-hmm.
into, well,
What are
I
you
guess
trying
they
to
don't
say?
have DNA from anyone else.
They have DNA from her birth mother, which would come up as a closely related match in CODIS. So
Sure, so her DNA, but what about DNA from anybody else? Because
no.
they don't have any kind of, they never took any kind of DNA
I'm
sample.
sure
There
the
was no
only thing
blood,
they
no
did.
hair,
No, I'm sure the
nothing.
only thing they did back then was fingerprint. I bet you they fingerprinted Jeff. I bet you they didn't even interview the freaking cop. So I don't know. We got 2 minutes left on this recording, so we kind of got to wrap it up. But
All right.
let me know
Well,
what you
give us
think
your
of this
guys'
case.
opinion. What do you guys
Yes.
think? Let me know what you guys are
Do you
thinking.
have leave any memories you have of Veronica if you knew her? Because her parents do love to read that stuff.
It's
People,
amazing.
it is.
Great people.
On her findagrave.com, people are still sharing like pictures they find of her that they found when they were
Aww.
younger. I know, it's so sweet. There's like a picture of her that someone uploaded a few like 2 years ago of her working in the grocery
Awesome.
store. Like her at her job.
Ugh.
I
All
know,
right,
it's so
guys.
upsetting.
Mia's gonna link any
I'll link the police department and I will link the FBI contact list below. So
all right, we appreciate you guys coming in. I
thank
hope
you.
this was okay for everybody. This is our first one, so
It
please
is.
be kind.
And
We will be following up with more in the future.
suggest us some cases, please. Some that you
Yes,
know have
send us
no
some cases if you
coverage.
have anything.
Even if it
Um
is solved. We love a good solved case. I love a solved case, but this one we just had to be our first because it hit close to home.
so motive to murder, you guys be watching for us here in the
Yes,
future.
we
Thank you
will be
guys for coming in. We appreciate it.
we'll be posting what every I don't know what day
Hopefully
yet.
every week.
We will be posting at least once a week. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
All
Bye
right, guys.
guys.
Bye.